You're listening to Treats from the Store, the podcast where people from Ascension Parish and the surrounding areas discuss real topics. This episode is sponsored by 180 Pros, Movable Dumpsters, and High Horse Haircuts. I'm not usually the youngest person in the room, but I'm staring at a room full of boomers today. Sitting with me today is Taft Kleinpeter, Brenda Whitney, and James LeBlanc. If y'all want to introduce yourselves one at a time here.
Well, good evening, and thanks for having us. I'm Brenda Whitney. I have been in Ascension Parish since 1971. I was transplanted here from St. Louis, Missouri when I was 10 years old, so I just told my age, but okay, that's fine. But I love the parish. I try to do what I can to help out when I can with various things. So most of you know me from what's going on in Ascension Parish, and that's my group. I take care of them and try to stay on top of things as much as I can. And like I said, I'm just here. I do my thing.
I would say Brenda knows the pulse of the parish. I think that was your words. You were at a council meeting or something, and you went up to the podium and you said, I have like 30,000. This was a long time ago. It was because it's way more now. But you were like, I have 30,000 people in my group, so I know the pulse of the parish, so blah, blah, blah. And I remember using that phrase, and it kind of stuck with me. So.
Yeah, we went from that to almost 102,000 now. So
nice.
It's a big group, and I try to keep it as local as I can.
Yeah. We
got people from all over trying to infiltrate, and I do everything to keep them out.
There's one... It's called Ascension Parish Uncensored. I think it's another one of those. You denied somebody a post, so they started their own groups. Right. But anyway, they've had 3 posts in the last day from people. Anyone else in Florida can help me with this? Man, this rain in Mississippi is ridiculous. And we're like, why are you posting that in here?
Exactly.
So it's important to keep the actual parish people in the group.
I try.
The Keystone group is having the same problem.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So.
All right, Taft Kleinpeter, thank you for having us. I'm from Prairieville, been here since 1993. I've been on the school board since 2003, and I am also the president of the Louisiana School Board Association over all of the parish school boards. So I'm excited to be here and really ready to kick this thing off, and let's talk about a lot of things of Ascension.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm James E. LeBlanc. And I've been living in Ascension Parish my entire life. I've been very fortunate and been very blessed to be a volunteer fire chief here in Ascension for the past 40 years, and I've been constable for the past 26 years. Along with Brenda, I got several pages on Facebook. One of the ones that I'm most proud of is the early days of Ascension Parish, which people post up on it all day long about what we're going to talk about today. So it's great to be here, and thanks for inviting us.
Let's kick it off with the Concrete Man.
Yeah, so the Concrete Man was Cassio's Concrete on Airline Highway in Prairieville. They made this Concrete Man.
I thought it was on 42.
No, it was originally the first Concrete Man was actually on Airline Highway in Prairieville.
Okay.
And then whenever I guess Cassio's Concrete shut down,
right,
the Cassio's picked it up and brought it to Highway 42 and put it there for a while. So the Concrete Man originated definitely in Prairieville on Airline Highway with Cassio's Concrete.
Near Swamp Road, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. That is correct. Yeah.
That was a long time ago, but he was a landmark, and people back then, highway numbers weren't really a thing. So if you were going somewhere, it would turn left at the Concrete Man.
Yeah, everyone always says, my house was 3 houses past the Concrete Man. It was a landmark for directions, and I don't remember it because my mama never rode past it or whatever. It was gone before I really was over there, but yeah, I didn't really see it too much. He comes up a lot in conversations. I told everybody I don't want to win Person of the Year again this year because it's enough. I need someone else to win. But if I do, maybe I'll get a Concrete Man tattoo. I don't know.
There you go. Well, I got a good picture of it, so we'll be able to get a good tattoo of it.
Well, you could do that, or you could do the Muddy Horse.
No, let's not. Let's not do that.
He's still coming up, and he's still there. They have a baby there now, so
wow.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about schools. How many there used to be, how they've changed now. This is a big topic. How many students there used to be in a class, in a school. Whoever wants to take it from there.
Well, I can tell you when I came to school here, and I started again in 1971, I was in 4th grade on the 3rd floor of what is now LeBlanc Special Services building. That was quite some time ago. Grades were like you had 4A, 4B, 4C. 4A were your A students, 4B were your B students, and that's how you were in classes with kids who had basically the same grades as you.
Yeah, I never heard of that till now.
Oh yeah, it was a
That
thing.
seems like that would be kind of messed up to do now.
Well, yeah, because you get screamed at for so many different things. It would be,
I mean, we had the gifted program for the really smart, gifted kids who were ahead of everybody. But we didn't say like, well, the dumb ones are going to be here. You know, we didn't out loud.
You didn't say the dumb ones were going to be 4D, huh?
Yeah,
Right.
we didn't out loud say,
No.
oh yeah, you're going to be in A. Hey, what are you in 4B? Idiot. You know?
you were grouped by grade point average, basically.
Wow.
Even though GPA really wasn't a thing back till you got in high school. But yeah, and then that's how it was. And then I was fortunate to be in a group that, you know, as we grew and the schools came together, because then you had all the different elementary schools. There was no middle school.
Right.
East Ascension Junior High, aka Gonzales Middle, is
Correct.
where 8th and 9th grade went. And then
Yep.
everybody went to East Ascension High School until 1978.
Correct.
Yep. You had in the 1960s, you had about 11,000 kids in the schools with over 27,000 residents, and then you go all the way down to the 90s. You had over 18,000 kids with 58,000 residents, and then all the way to the 2020 era, you got 24,000 plus in the schools and about 127,000 residents. So massive growth, big time over the last 25 years with the schools for sure. We've got about 133,000 residents, it looks like today, with 24,600 kids.
Yeah, when people complain that there's too many new schools, or I can't believe we're getting another school, we got a lot more people than they used to. I mean,
Absolutely.
we got 133,000 now versus 5 when you was here. You know what I mean?
And look, around 2010, I mean, you still had 18% of the residents were students.
Yeah.
So that ratio stayed pretty. I mean, you got some. You know, you had the growth in 2010 in Santa Maria, Galvez, and Dutchtown and Prairieville, but still, you're still looking at 18% students.
There were only 3 high schools, I think, when I was a kid. I think it was just EA, Santa Maria, and maybe Donisville, and that was it.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Dutchtown didn't start till the early 2003,
Yeah,
something like that.
in the
Early
2000s.
2000s.
Yes. I was fortunate. I went to. I was a Golden Eagle, Dutchtown Golden Eagle. Went to Dutchtown from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade, and then of course, like Brenda said, once we left middle school or primary school, K through 8th, then we went to East Ascension from 9th grade till graduation.
Was there a Gonzales High School, or was it always EA?
There was a Gonzales High School prior to 1966.
Okay.
So, as the alma
right.
mater goes,
I should
in the
have known
6th
that.
year of the
Yeah,
60s.
that's right.
That's exactly right.
I should have known that.
Exactly.
Yes.
There was a
Yes.
Gonzales High School, a Santa Maria High School, a Dutchtown High School. Did Prairieville have a high school back then?
It was what a middle school is now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they talked about that when they built the new school and they did the ribbon cutting ceremony.
That's
they
right.
talked about the old
Yeah.
Prairieville High School.
Yeah.
That's right.
Where did
That's right.
people in Donisville go to school? Did they always have enough schools there, or did they have to come over the river to EA or whatever?
I don't think so. I think they always stayed on
They,
there.
they always stayed on the West Bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, because one of my jobs where I work for Pelican Credit Union, and one of the things that I do is go into schools to do financial literacy, that Donisville High School is top notch.
They
I'm going
are.
to tell you, I love going to visit with them. You know,
I think- Brenda, was it in 76, I think, when it moved to Tiger Drive where it's at now, I think, because it was where Lori's at
yes,
before. But yeah, it's a beautiful school.
yeah. It's amazing to see the things that have come up over there and the programs that we offer at Ascension Schools now that are state of the art. You know, I mean, we do everything from which the early college option is amazing because those kids can actually graduate with an associate's degree and their high school diploma
wow.
the
I
same
didn't even
night.
know that, yeah.
Yes. And then we have the cosmetology program. We have a cooking, culinary program. There is the welding program. There are so many things that these kids can learn in Ascension schools, and a lot of people don't even know that we have those opportunities for our children now.
The in-class technology has changed a lot. I remember we had proper chalkboards, and that's not a thing anymore.
No.
They all have either whiteboards or digital boards now.
That's correct.
And my kids didn't even have, I mean, they did until about high school. I was like, oh, y'all need some notebooks and whatever? And then they're like, no. And so, because we used to have 50-pound book sacks on our, like it hurt to tote them things around. And my kids, I said, well, they were complaining how heavy their book sack was. I said, yeah, with all those books you got and, notebooks. And they said, no, we don't have any of that. It's just a computer. That's it. That's literally it.
Yeah, I think another thing that's changed over the years is the way our libraries are set up now in Ascension Parish.
Wow.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, when we were growing up, the libraries were nowhere close to what they are now. But I will bring something up when we were kids that most people may have forgot about. But like during the summertime, they used to have the bookmobile that would come to your neighborhood, and it would park at the front of your neighborhood. And you would walk to the front of the neighborhood with your library card, and you would check books out at the bookmobile, and they would come to like my neighborhood on Thursdays. So next Thursday you had to bring that book back and get another one.
Well, they still have the bookmobile. You'd have to go on the Ascension Parish Library's website to get the schedule for it.
Yeah, they got
but
like
it still does go around.
Like a Ford Sprinter van, decked out with, for the library.
But it does. They
I haven't
do
seen
offer that.
But I'm gonna tell you, those were some good old days. You couldn't wait till Thursday morning to run down the street to get a book out the bookmobile.
But
I've seen it go down like the Veterans Parade and stuff. They put it in events.
yes,
Yeah.
they do. And they, like James said, the library has changed so much because, I mean, you think about a library and it's like, oh, boring. Guess what? It's not. Like,
You're
they
allowed
are
to talk in those
state-of-the-art.
now?
Yes.
We had to be quiet. Like
Yeah.
the library was a sacred place like a church. You whispered. You didn't talk at all. And, now you can just talk like it's a gym, whatever you want to do. It's fine.
Right.
They dropped that, and that's a good thing.
They offer so many good programs for the residents of this parish, too.
Have you been in the new one?
Yes.
You can sew in there and cut wood and 3D print. And
They have a recording studio.
They do.
They have a kitchen.
They have a culinary
That's
kitchen
insane.
where they teach. I
Teach
think
you how to cook.
It's amazing.
We had, when I was a kid in the Gonzales Library, we had the big old Snoopy characters. Remember that?
But look, you can go there. A friend of mine went and I want to say rented, but you're not renting it. You get it with your card, a metal detector, and she took it to the beach with her.
Oh, no shit.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, they have so many cool things. They have like these little outside things. If your kids are into bugs or, butterfly collecting, you can rent the little stuff from them to do all that. Like, there's just so much stuff that they offer that we didn't have as kids, and so many opportunities now. And people don't have to pay for that. It's all free. Get a card.
Speaking of technology, one thing the school board did in the early 2000s is we came up with the 8-meal technology proposition. Mm-hmm. Went to the voters. I mean, this community is unbelievable when it comes to support. Supported it. So what that has done since then is put dedicated $13 million annually in the system, and that's why every child has a device. So it's the one-to-one device that we have, and that renewal. So you can upgrade them. They get new devices, and that's been something that. And look, I mean, I think it passed at 79% with the community. So kudos to the community for definitely taking our advice and making it happen.
And they need that.
What I've seen in Ascension Parish versus Livingston, anytime there's a library thing or any kind of technology thing, Ascension Parish always votes it for it. The public supports it. Every time in Livingston Parish there's any kind of library, any kind of educational anything, they're like, nope. They
And
shut
look,
it. They hate it.
I know
I don't
firsthand.
understand.
My grands go to school in Livingston.
Right.
My twin granddaughters are in 9th grade at Denham Springs High School, and we went to their orientation. You couldn't fit another person in that gym. This freshman class is over 900 children.
Cool.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
I mean, and they're wanting to build more neighborhoods, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, where are they going to put those kids?
Yeah. All right, let's talk about hospitals. We have a lot more, and that's a good thing. I got to think, how were they different when y'all were kids versus now?
We had one.
We had one when we were growing up, and that was the East Ascension Hospital, right over there where the governmental complex building is now with the pond. And I mean, when you got sick or you needed surgery or you needed anything, you went to the East Ascension Hospital right there on Worthy Road, and they had for the whole entire life of that hospital, they had a hospital board, that ran that hospital. And that went on for, my whole entire childhood. And then, of course, after that one shut down, of course, came St. Elizabeth right there on Highway 30.
Right.
And then it stayed St. Elizabeth forever. And then some marketing director came up with this wild idea to call it OLOL Ascension. And nobody in Ascension Parish liked it. So they went back to St. Elizabeth. And then, of course, the one on 73 in Prairieville, which is Baton Rouge General.
St. Elizabeth used to have a real bad reputation about 20 years ago. I used to be told if I ever hurt myself, take me all the way to Baton Rouge instead of St. Elizabeth. It was so bad. And it's way better now.
And they've come a long way.
Yeah.
They have. And, I mean, their emergency room, I can't give kudos enough to, because when my husband was sick, if it wouldn't have been for them, I don't know what we'd have done.
Yeah.
They were such a blessing, and I hear good things coming out of there all the time. So
they've got a lot of specialty doctors in there, urologists and everything else. So,
and I don't know if the one on Burnside, the Ochsner Clinic, I don't know if that's a hospital or if it's just a clinic.
Oh, that new one by 30?
Yeah.
I believe it's just a clinic.
I think so.
They don't have any kind of emergency services or anything there. So, but yeah, we've grown a long way. I mean, even without that, there are so many other types of clinics here. There are a lot more specialty doctors in the parish. Baton Rouge Clinic has a little sub office in somewhere around 73. Women's Hospital has different services here in the parish now. So we have a lot more medical opportunities for our patients, and that's great.
Anytime I can not drive to Baton Rouge, that's a good day.
And of course, in Donaldsonville we had Prevost.
Correct.
And Prevost has been here forever, and they're right in the architectural stages right now of building a new Prevost on the West Bank.
I remember there was a lot of talk about that about a year ago in the council meetings.
Right. So they'll be building a new hospital on the West Bank, close by where Prevost is right now.
And did you know, Taft, that they do a program with students at Prevost or West Ascension?
Yep.
And they bring kids in and do, it's like a summer camp type situation, and they go in there and do all kind of programs with them, getting them introduced to the medical professions and the different opportunities that way. And I've had the opportunity of presenting to them, and great group of kids. Loved it.
Yep.
They let the kids do bypass surgery. It's real cool.
No, I don't think so.
It's a good learning experience.
Not yet.
I want to talk about phones, like landline phones here and ETEL and how that's changed. I was talking earlier about how when someone gave you their phone number, they didn't give you the 225 or the 504. You just said 621 whatever, you 644 whatever, and you didn't have to ask. You didn't have to type it on your phone. And now if someone gives you a phone number and they say, well, it's 703-1480, and you're like, oh, what area code? If you look at a phone number now and there's no area code, it looks naked. It's weird.
Well, and because so many people can get a cell phone, you can buy your cell phone in Florida and you're issued that area code, and it goes with you wherever you go. But
I got friends with Houston and everything, and they live
I
here.
had to laugh because yesterday Rev put the phone book in the mailbox, which was very unusual.
That's still a thing?
It came in the mail yesterday.
Yeah, it might have been about the size of an 8x10 sheet of paper and maybe a quarter of an inch thick.
They used to be the brag if you could rip a book in half. If you was a bad dude, you could rip a phone. If you was Hulk Hogan, you could rip a phone book in half.
Right.
And now it's anybody can.
The Hulk could do it now, and he's dead, right? So I mean,
at least that's what they said on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I remember, like with phones, my first outside my house phone I had was a bag phone that plugged into the cigarette lighter of your car.
Yeah, car phones.
Yeah, car phone. That was the first phone that I had outside of the house, and it was a big black bag phone that plugged in the cigarette lighter.
It was almost like a car payment when you got your bill in from it.
100%. It was unbelievable how much they charged per minute.
Yeah.
My mom had one, and she got it cloned one time, and then she had to go dispute the charge. Someone cloned her phone. That was a thing you could do back then.
Let's go back a little further. So when I first moved here, well, I really didn't talk on the phone at 10 years old in St. Louis. That just wasn't a thing. But we moved here, and, I made friends, and I wanted to call my friends, and I went to pick up the landline, of course, attached to the wall kind of thing. And there was somebody talking on the phone.
That's exactly right.
What the heck? Mom, there's somebody on our phone.
Yeah.
We were on a party line.
Yes. I remember
And it
that.
was like, oh my God. And so you had to wait for them to get done, and you had to kept picking up till the line was free.
And that was almost my whole childhood, that went on. And then we went into so many different eras. What was the Nextel that you could click and
the chirp.
chirp, and then you could.
And it worked wherever you was.
And then what was the one where it had the little keypad on it?
BlackBerry.
Blackberry.
Yeah.
Well, when you got a BlackBerry, that's whenever you
was
He was a
fancy.
bad dude then.
Yeah.
One thing about it too is, back in the day, you would remember everybody's number. I can't remember
nobody's
hardly any
number.
numbers now.
I barely know my own wife's number.
Yep, I know.
I don't need to.
I know.
Do y'all remember LOS? There was a map in the phone book, and it showed like Gonzales, and then it would have these circles extending
The long
further and out.
distance.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right. Phone calls used to cost money.
Yes.
Like if
Yep.
someone called,
Baton Rouge.
Texas.
Oh, yeah.
It cost them $1 a minute or whatever it was.
If
it
you
was
called Baton
If you
Rouge at
called
one
Baton
point,
Rouge,
it was
that's right.
long distance.
That's
Because they weren't on the ETEL system. They were on whatever they had, Bell Telephone, AT&T, I don't know. But yeah.
I remember there was an episode of like Full House or something where one of the kids got on the phone and they called China or somewhere. It was some long distance thing, and that was the whole they got fussed at learning thing of the episode. Moral of the story of the episode was that phone calls cost money.
That's right.
That's not a thing anymore.
You go back to the pagers, and you had to pull in a phone booth, and
Yeah.
you had a collect call card that you put that code in and called out if you had to call somewhere that was paging you from out of the area.
Yep.
And then that's when you had the pager, these people that were a lot smarter than us, they could send a code to your pager, and if you turn the pager upside down,
It would spell a phrase.
It would give you a phrase.
Yep.
I guess that's where text messaging started from.
Yeah, you could write boobies or
Yeah.
I love you or
Yeah.
not, whatever.
Hello.
Yeah, that's right.
Smiley faces.
Yep.
It was so fun. And then the pay phones. I mean, you had pay phones everywhere. Now you see the old naked phone booths, but no phone.
I saw a phone booth in Lafayette. I don't remember which exit it was. I got off the exit and I went to a gas station. It was dead, but sure enough, a payphone.
Yeah.
I remember when pay phones it was a dime to use it, and then the world almost ended whenever they went to a quarter. It's like
It's true.
Yes.
That's like pool tables. Old music box had
That's right.
10-cent pool tables. You go put that dime in there and play pool all day long,
Yeah, that was old Bob and Faye Henderson that
Yep.
owned the music box. And, while we're talking about that, some of the famous country singers in the world came to the music box. You had Conway Twitty. You had Loretta Lynn.
Willie Nelson.
You had Willie Nelson. All of those people came right here to Ascension Parish when they got their start right there at the music box. And,
Yep.
and the list goes on and on and on. And, of course, that's where Teresa Henderson that was her parents.
Yes.
And that's where she got her start. And she was a big she won some when we
Star
were
Search.
Yeah, when we were growing up.
Star Search.
When we
Yep.
were growing up, she won Star Search. Teresa Henderson.
Yep. Yes, she did. She still comes and hangs out with us sometimes and plays some music locally when she's in town. She's living in Florida now, but we love us some Teresa.
A game of pool now costs $1.50. And I get my money's worth because I suck at pool, so I get a good 30 minutes out of that $1.50. So.
Yes,
Yep.
100%.
All right, this episode is brought to you by 180 Pros. If your business needs IT support that feels more like a partnership than a transaction, 180 Pros is worth knowing. They provide managed IT, cybersecurity, cloud services, and consulting for businesses that want dependable support and a team that actually stays engaged. 180 Pros is built around responsive service, clear communication, and helping clients feel supported every step of the way. To learn more, check out 180pros.com. Partner, not provider. They are in Baton Rouge. Visit High Horse Haircuts, located at 12502 Highway 431 in Sanama, next to the pharmacy. They are right by DeLone's. High Horse is a walk-in or appointment full-service salon. You name it, they do it, and they do it the best. High Horse does hair services for the entire family. They offer military and first responder discounts as well. They take walk-ins, but they do get pretty busy, so call ahead at 225-647-0708, and you can follow them on all the socials at High Horse Hair. Be sure to nominate them this year in the Best of Ascension Awards for Best Hair Salon, and come see Amanda, Destiny, and Emily. That's High Horse Haircuts. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef? Nope. A movable dumpster. Use our roll-off dumpsters for remodeling, spring cleaning, new construction, or moving. We might have bad jokes, but we have legendary service. Movable has provided roll-off dumpsters to Ascension Parish, Livingston, Baton Rouge, and surrounding areas since 2017. They're laughing at me in the background, but these are good jokes. Residential, commercial, construction, and industrial clients alike know that no other company, hold on, no, there it is. No other company compares to the quality and pricing and service from movable dumpsters. Give the Moo Crew a call today at 225-963-9996 or visit online at movable.com. That's movable with 3 O's. Choose the Moo. All right, let's talk about restaurants.
Oh, boy.
So we can go on. So restaurants that come to mind, Roy Marchand's Po' Boys on Burnside.
I only went once.
Which they, Burger Delight. On Airline, the best
My
ice
favorite.
cream, the best malts, the best walnut malts and ice cream ever made.
Nut
was
dip.
right there on.
Man.
I mean, and look, man, they had the best hamburgers and the best
That was it,
cheeseburgers
the
at
hamburgers.
Burger Delight.
You can still get those good burgers, though, at Griffin Grill.
Griffin Grill.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah, those
Mr. Moe's son.
I remember as a kid, I would get the banana ice cream because, what do you call it, shake, because they had real chunks of banana. I'd never seen that before. I never got a hamburger as a kid, but I definitely loved those shakes.
And Snow Seafood, been around for over 50 years.
Oh yeah, Snow Sheets, and then it's Tide and Candy Sheets took it over.
Yep.
What about Old Colonial Drive-In?
Boy, that was back in the day.
Oh,
I'm
With the
out of this
skating rink
conversation.
next door.
Yeah, so where
Harbor Freight.
where Harbor Freight is now used to be.
I remember the skating rink.
So the skating rink before it was built, they had
The tent.
a tent. It was a red, white, and blue tent, and the floor was wooden, and you would skate in a tent. And then we really thought we were high class when they built the building,
Right.
which is now Harbor Freight.
Right.
But right there where they got all them portable buildings was a drive-in called Colonial Drive-In, and it was T-Boy Orgrave
Correct.
on that. And man, that was another beautiful place that we had when we were growing up.
Was it just food or food in a movie or what?
Oh, no.
It was whatever it was hamburgers,
food, yeah.
French fries, whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then of course this one right here has not been gone too long, but a lot of people remember Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
We don't have that no more.
No.
We have it. Don't we have it in that?
Not like that,
We're not
no.
really.
This was
We got
the-
a shopping center. You got to leave with it, Pizza. Hut.
Yeah.
Right,
But it
no.
wasn't like that one on the airline in
No.
44.
And that one it was like, man, I remember the Pizza Hut days whenever they had a buffet.
It was so good.
Yeah, you had a buffet.
So
They
good.
had
remember.
arcade machines. They had all kind of shit.
Coaching
Right.
those ball teams. That's where you went after the
That's
game.
where
With them
you
red
went.
cups. Okay, so I have a story about that Pizza Hut. I was about 20 years old, and I was a little bit of a Metallica fan at the time. So I go in there, and this is it's just a regular weekend, whatever. I go in there, and they got the jukebox, and I'm waiting for my pizza, and I see they got "Injustice for All" on there. It was just one of their albums, and I remember there's a song in there that had the F word in it. I said, why is this song on this jukebox? I'm going to do it. So sure enough, I don't remember what song it is, but I put that on there, right? And I'm the only customer, so I don't give a shit. So I pick the song and I go sit down and I get my pizza and sure enough, here comes an old lady and her little girl walks in. I said, oh, it hadn't got to my song yet. It's playing a couple other ones. I said, uh-oh. So I'm sitting there eating my pizza, and here comes the lyric. It's like, I've outgrown that fucking lullaby, or whatever the song, whatever
Yeah.
lyrics is. I thought, oh no. So I knew it was coming. I was just looking down and eating my pizza like I didn't pick that song. I don't know what's going on here. I was looking down at my pizza. And I'm glancing over, and the old lady and the daughter, they're talking and eating. I don't even think they heard it because it's metal. They're screaming. But I think the staff heard it because they came out there and they're talking to the people. Is everything cool?
Yeah.
I was just screwing around. It was only me in there. I said, well, let me put this offensive song. I was 20. I didn't give a shit.
Right.
And then an old lady came in. I said, whoops. That's my Pizza Hut story.
What about the airline?
So the airliner was where Walgreens is right now.
No.
Uh,
It was where the gas station across the street is.
yeah. So that was owned by Dalton Marchand.
Right.
And that's whenever Burnside was only 2 lane, and that place. I mean, my mom and my grandma worked in that place for years for Dalton, Marchand before he moved to the Dalton's restaurant on
On
44
Burnside,
where
yeah.
Cabo's is now.
Yeah.
But what about the Gazebo Grill?
Yes, indeed. Many a night we spent in that gazebo grill.
Man, they had the most. You ever heard of the Gazebo Grill?
I heard of it, but I never went.
Oh, my
Where was it?
goodness.
It was on Airline Highway.
Kind of where Chick-fil-A
yeah,
is,
where Chick-fil-A-
up in that area.
If you
Oh,
ever
okay.
if you ever went out drinking on the weekends, the Gazebo Grill was the way to go sober up.
I had to laugh. Let me
Yeah.
talk about stories. We
After you
had
finished drinking in the K&B parking
Yeah,
lot, you
yeah.
went down to the
That's
Gazebo
it.
Grill.
That's
there
exactly
used to
right.
be an organization in Ascension, and they haven't been long dismantled. They may still be around. I don't know. It's called the East Ascension Riders Club, and it was a horse riding group. And our arena was on Robert Wilson Road, off of Highway 30. We were there every Friday, and we would do awards and stuff. And so one year after our awards banquet, we kind of partied it up quite a bit. And my mom, decided we were going to Gazebo Grill, and we went in there, and it was me and my date and my mom and a bunch of other people. And mom goes to the bathroom, and she comes out, and she is laughing hysterically. And we're like, what's the matter? And she's like, I can't turn the water off. The faucet broke in her hand.
Oh, no.
Yes, there was water spewing everywhere. It was hilarious. I'm like, oh my God, you can't take her anywhere. But,
What was that in the 90s? I remember I called it the Y42 and 44 Hayward's
Hayward
Yes,
Seafood.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't remember who owned it, but that was
Billy Hayward.
there. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was another.
Seafood. What about Western Sizzler?
Oh yeah.
Man, I would kill for Western Sizzler to come back.
Yep.
Every time I bring up what dead restaurants we want back every time.
Look, so
Yeah.
Western Sizzler, of course, they had the best salad bar,
Yeah.
I mean, and of course they had the best food, and a little side joke about Western Sizzler, but if you ever ate at Western Sizzler, which we did, I mean, you only had time to get home, before it was time to use the restroom.
I got
So whenever,
remember that.
and it was every time. So like if you were eating at Western Sizzling, and then your wife made this comment about, hey, we need to before we go home, we need to go to Walmart and pick up a couple of things. It was like, you might need to go to Walmart. we ain't gonna survive going through Walmart after eating that. But it was so good, and man, the atmosphere was so good, and the food was so good.
I think it was there till about 2010 or something, but
Yeah.
I didn't go that often as an adult. I went a few times as a kid, and then I colored the cow.
Right.
They had the color the cow contest, and that's the first place I ever seen the drop your business card in a fishbowl
Yeah.
when
Right.
you win a lunch. That's the first place I ever seen that.
What about Cal's Bakery
Yeah.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Jumaville's.
and Jumbaville's
Yeah.
Bakery? I mean, you talk about
Is Jumonville the one that is just left? It's on 44 near 30.
It's 44 near 30.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, those people still talk about the brownies and the cakes at Cal's Bakery.
Yep.
I heard that Jumonville had made a big ass burger if you asked for one.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this, but many people told me there was a bakery, and so Cal's Bakery was the top East Side bakery, but there was a bakery, a big popular bakery on the West Bank called Dim's Bakery.
Yeah.
Dim's Bakery, and they raved about that bakery. So
Those brothers grew up in Donaldsonville and Plaquemine.
right, that's
And,
right,
and
and they had a Dim's Bakery in Plaquemine.
Plaquemine,
Yep.
yep.
That's
yep.
right.
But
I
they
had-
got, and
yeah.
my favorite and gone Chinese was Golden Buddha.
Oh, the Golden Buddha.
Oh my gosh.
Never got to go to that
They
one
didn't
either.
have a big buffet, but
Yeah.
they had quality food. Like whatever they had on that, it was so good. So good.
So I got cows a few times as a kid, and I didn't like it because I was a spoiled, stupid kid. I was picky because I was used to eating Krispy Kreme, and I thought that was just the best donuts. So here my mom would bring me cows, and this is a real proper donut, and I'm like, what the hell is this crap? This
Yeah.
isn't as good as Krispy
Yes.
Kreme.
But talking about
I didn't know
Donaldsonville,
anything.
First and Last Chance been there forever.
Oh,
Yes.
And they
Yeah.
still there, and that's some good food too.
I had lunch that other day.
So
I
some
need to get
stories,
back in there.
you know, a good story about the First and Last Chance is I could not believe this when I first started going there, but I don't know what his name was, but somebody's gonna know. But he was an old black guy that worked there, and he was a waiter, and we would go there with like 6, 7, 8 people, and when you would when all 8 people would give their order, he never wrote it down. And the reason why he never wrote it down is because he didn't know how to write. He didn't know how to read and write.
Wow.
But
just
he would
remembered
take 8 to 10 people's order, and whenever it came out, it was all correct. And he never wrote an order down.
That makes me nervous when I go somewhere and the waiter doesn't write it down. I'm like, bro, please write it down. I don't
Yeah.
trust this shit
and,
at all.
And they got, like, one of the big things I remember about the First and Last Chance is the garlic fries. Mm-hmm. I mean, they got the best French fries ever.
And what was Mr. Wiles? What was his drive-in?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Wiles. Drive in Donaldsonville, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Bringing back some old memories there.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Jay
What-
Bird would know if she was here.
It's not what David Weil.
No, it was their daddy.
It was their daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't think of his
remember
name to
the
save
Eric.
my soul. Eric's was right. Eric's
Eric
was there,
Weil, yeah.
but they had
the other.
it was like a drive up kind of like Burger Delight style, but
So another one that's been around forever is Blue Runner Foods.
Yes,
Blue
indeed.
Runner Beans been on right there on Burnside for my whole entire childhood. You know, you pass by there, you can smell them cooking them beans, and they've been doing that. I'd love to know how many years Blue Runner Beans been here.
They used to give school tours of the plant or whatever. I've never been, but I know people. Their class went and took a look around. While we're back on the West Bank, did you ever eat Chef's fried chicken?
Oh, definitely. That was the
That one's gone now, but I never went. I heard it's good.
it was very good.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hurt people when that Icon store shut down.
Whenever Hurricane Ida decided she didn't like my house anymore and she destroyed it, my daughter and I stayed on the West Bank for about 60 days with some friends over there, and I learned a lot about Donaldsonville that I didn't know much about. And when you want some good food, go across the river.
So I think.
we got good food on this side. Don't get me wrong.
Am I saying that Leaders took over that?
They did.
Yes.
Leaders Fried
Yeah,
Chicken took
they
over
did.
Chef's Chicken. Yeah.
But they have a little place over there. It's called Danu's Meat Market. They make the best plate lunches you can imagine.
Right.
And then they have the Grapevine, of course. But they got some good food on the other side of the river.
I like Leaders because you don't have to say mild or spicy. They make it one way and it's good.
One
Yes.
way, and it's
The meat is good. The crust is right. It's good every time.
and
Yeah.
the fish too.
Yo, I love their
The
fish.
fish.
That was
Yeah.
Chef Bernie Mastretta that had that.
That's right.
He had the catering business and that hall, and he had
Yeah.
the Chef's fried chicken.
Yeah, that's a training facility for CF
Yeah,
now.
CF
The old
Yeah.
Bernard's. or whatever it's
Bernardo's.
called.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
he has some.
Bernardo's.
Bernardo has some good food
Yeah,
too.
he did.
Absolutely.
Went to many a reception over there.
Yep.
Yes.
So
That
they
was
had
good
some.
stuff.
So while we were growing up, they had some nice theaters here in Ascension, and the one on the West Bank was called the Grand Theater, which was a huge theater on Railroad Avenue in Donaldsonville. But of course, the one we grew up with was the Pasqua Theater.
Pasqua, yeah.
That's the one
Right
behind
there.
Lamandolas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it only had one screen. It wasn't like today where you walk into a Malco theater and you got 22 screens. I mean, the Pasqua Theater only. But look, everybody grew up at the Pasqua Theater. I think one of the first movies I remember seeing there was Jaws.
For me, it was Smokey and the Bandit.
Right. Yeah. So that those were two good places that we grew up with childhood.
Most definitely. I just remember Jay's. It was Jay's. That was the name of the place in Donaldsonville.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And then talking about Jay's, when we grew up,
Quick snack.
Jay's Quick Snack, and then you also had Jay Patterson had Jay's clothing store,
Right.
And his wife Suzanne had Suzanne's clothing store.
She just passed
And
away.
She just passed
recently.
away in the last couple of weeks. But when you wanted a nice suit for men, you went to Jay's, and if you wanted a nice dress for women, you went to Suzanne's.
Miss Suzanne and Miss Marianne Lobel, they were boutiques before boutiques were a thing. Because you had
100.
Mary Ann's out here on Highway 30, and Miss Suzanne was in Galleries Gonzalez.
And I remember Mary Ann's. That was another big popular place.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
James over here has a book with about 100 different businesses he wrote down. So I'm going to just let him run the show for now.
You said something a while ago that I really loved was because you wasn't lying. And I got a funny story behind it. So when we were growing up, you were right. When everybody would drive through K&B parking lot, then you would drive through McDonald's, and then you would drive through K&B parking lot, and you would do that all night long. And so K&B parking lot would be full of people. I'm talking just
high
tons and
schoolers
tons.
and-
Drinking Budweiser little ponies.
Boone's Farm.
Yeah, Boone's Farm and the little Budweiser ponies and stuff like
Little
that.
Millers.
The little Millers and stuff like that. But I remember one night I was going through the K&B parking lot in my 1977 blue Monte Carlo, and the parking lot was full of people. And at that time, the stick shift was, it was automatic and it was on the ground. And I remember popping it in neutral and revving up my engine real good and popping that thing in drive and blew my drive shaft completely out of the car in front of about 500 people.
That's embarrassing.
And then eased on into a parking lot and then jumped in a car somewhere else and worried about coming to get the car later.
Yep.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
You can't do that now.
I remember all the rebellious teenagers used to hang out in the McDonald's parking lot right over the water there.
Right.
Because I remember being in like middle school and being shy, and my mom would drive through that parking lot after school, and there'd be so many teenagers outside smoking. I was intimidated. I would duck down so they didn't see me with my mama in the
Yeah.
car. Like I didn't want them to see.
Yeah, when you would never go around McDonald's and K&B parking lot on Friday and Saturday night with your mom and daddy.
Oh no.
that
that was
unheard of.
embarrassing.
I didn't want to be seen at Walmart or nothing with my mama.
Yeah.
Or the mall or anywhere. We'd go somewhere, and I would stay way back. It was death, social death, if you were seen with your mama shopping.
Well,
back
how
in the
times have
80s.
changed. So
Oh, yeah.
when I was, I guess, middle teenish, 13, 14ish, me and my two best friends that lived across the street, one of the moms would drop us off at Galleries Gonzalez, and we'd shop there, and Miss Suzanne's or Elliot's or whatever else was in there. There was a TG&Y in there
Oh, yeah,
too, I
TG,
think.
yes.
And we'd leave there, and we'd walk up Burnside, and we'd stop at Sherman's. And what else was down Burnside?
We got
Jewelry stores.
Floyd's Jewelry.
Floyd's Jewelry, and we'd go
Okay.
there, and we'd go all the way to Highway 30, and we'd go to West Brothers, and first we'd stop at Howard Brothers, which was right next door to where East Ascension is, and then we'd make our way to 30, and we'd go to West Brothers and TG&Y and Miss Mary Ann's, and
Floyd's Jewelers.
can't do that
Raoul's now.
anymore.
Yeah, Floyd's Jewelry is
Raoul's.
Raoul's now. And look, that was the jewelry store when we were growing
Right.
up. So and look, the very first thing when I was trying to make my list today is of course Howard Brothers.
Yeah.
Right there next to it's the Rev Technology Building now.
Correct.
Yep.
School board technology building.
Yep.
Rev was there before and now Howard Brothers, but man, TG&Y, Howard Brothers, West Brothers. All of those old stores.
What about this one?
Western Auto.
Western Auto.
What about Woolco?
Woolco?
We did,
That
yeah.
was at the old Walmart before it was Walmart, I'm told.
Which is
So it's
now
before
Malco.
Yeah, that's right.
It was before
Yeah.
my day, but that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
That's right. So where Walmart is now, when we was growing up, that was Stevens Meat Market.
Yeah, that's what
All
I've
right.
heard. That was
And
me.
then after Stevens Meat Market was the Gonzalez Pottery, which was owned by Cliff Neese, who owned Neese Industries.
Yeah. That was a
And-
big loss to our community when Nice decided to sell out.
That's right. And so Stevens Meat Market forever, and then Gonzalez Pottery, and then they tore it down, and that's where they built Walmart.
Yeah, Nice was the raincoat factory, and then on what road was it back there behind Gonzalez Elementary had the pants factory.
Oh yeah, that was over there by the the pants factory was by the big water tower in Gonzales.
Yeah, that's what I said. Behind Gonzales Elementary was the pants factory.
Right.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember where LeBlanc's used to be in that big
Yeah,
L building, and then before that it was that Stanley.
That's right.
Before that it was National.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's as far back as I remember.
Yeah, they
That's-
had National, and they had M&B shoe store,
Yeah, on
and
the left.
Bertos
And-
pharmacy.
They had
There
a
was a
Hallmark
sh-
store
yeah.
in the corner
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, Miss Janice LeBlanc's Hallmark.
Yeah.
Yep.
Janice LeBlanc, and she had some real nice stores inside there. Janice
Yes,
LeBlanc.
that was a nice that whole little strip. So
Right.
where Aldi is now. So let's see what
It went
fills
from
it up.
upscale to not so much. It's nice now. They got an Aldi, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
No, not at all.
I missed
Not
the
at
I missed
all.
the little family cards and comics, or it was called Pennies First. You know
You
what I'm
are
talking
right.
about?
Yeah.
To the left of AutoZone, they had that
Yeah.
comic book store. They had
Yeah.
games and
Yep.
card games and board games, and it was a kid's paradise back then.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And every now and then I go in there and buy some old ass Archies and whatever, Batman, DuckTales, and I got a kick out of it.
So what about the Cows Club in Prairieville? I think it was owned. Was it owned by Van Broussard at one time?
His family.
Yeah, his
Cal
so-
Broussard.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And so that was, along with the music box, which we already talked about.
Right.
And then you had the Cows Club, which was in Prairieville, and I remember, I still remember looking at the pictures. Van Broussard would play every Saturday night. From 9 to 1, and I mean that was a real popular club. And then when we were growing up, there was another popular club on Highway 30 at the Holiday Inn. It was called Sugars.
Yep, sure.
Well, you also had at one time where what is it now?
621.
No, I'm talking, but the catering place. I
Oh,
think.
Cabaret.
Yeah, because it was Cabaret, then it was First Edition,
Then it was Copper Coin.
Coin, and then it was something else after that, and then it went back to the Cabaret.
Went back to the cabaret. Yeah.
It went back to the Cabaret a few times. 621 catering.
Yeah,
360.
360. That's right.
catering.
360.
I knew
catering.
that had something named
Yeah.
number. Yeah.
Yeah, that, and that was
And the
a very,
Roundup.
and
Don't
the-
forget the Roundup.
So the Roundup was I was, of course, in the fire service when the Roundup burned down right there
Yeah.
on 621 and Muir Road.
That was the first time I heard David Allen Coe was at
Yeah.
the Roundup, live and in person.
Man.
Yes. Those were some good places.
And then you had Diaz's on Highway 74.
Yeah.
That was like like y'all hung out at McDonald's. The Goat Roper crew, we hung out at Diaz's.
What,
Yeah.
what was Diaz?
So Diaz was a little
you
grocery
can't be talking
store.
about the appliance place.
No, next door to
it's
it.
where 74 and Babin Road meet, where Chef KD stuff
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So part of that was a little grocery store, and the
Okay.
other side was a bar room.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And there was
Yeah.
a car wash there in the parking lot. So we hung out again, because at East Ascension back in the day, you had three groups. You had the Goat Ropers, the Rah-Rahs, and the Heads.
All
Yeah.
right.
Kind of self-explanatory,
We had about
right?
we had about 8. We had the jocks, you know what I mean?
well, the
the
jocks
preps.
were one of each. You know,
We
in
had the
whatever group
preppies,
they
we
fell
called
in.
them. Those were the ones with the Tommy Hill.
That was the Rah-Rahs.
Okay, there you go.
That was
And
the
then I'm trying to
Rah-Rahs.
think of what was the bar room on 74 before you got to Diaz's that had the coldest beer in town. It was Dean Smith's Pawpaw's place.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what I never did know what the name of that
Yeah,
was.
and I mean, I still remember, my dad would pull in there and go sit in because it was the coldest beer in town. I know Dean Smith. It was Dean Smith's grandpa.
Right.
And but back then, my dad would leave me and my sister in the car, and he'd go in the bar room and drink. And
Well, where Babin's Glass is now, it used to be called the Double H, and it was a bar. And it was Mr. Helen and Miss Harold, Mr. Harold and Miss Helen offered. And then when Miss Helen passed away, Mr. Harold's like, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. And my mom took it over. And she kept it as a Double H for years and years and years. And it opened at 6 o'clock in the morning. And when I tell you, there was some old guys, and every morning at 6 o'clock, they were in there. Some of them might drink coffee, but for the most part, that was not what they were in there drinking.
so when we're talking about lounges, we got
Yeah.
we got Grace's.
Oh, yeah.
Grace Lounge.
Oh, people
and
love Grace's.
Grace's. Grace's was at two different places. It was first
Started at the old Gold Place.
Gold Place in 431 before it moved to Weber City.
Right,
Yep.
right.
And then you had the Weber City Lounge.
Yeah.
which was
It's still there, isn't it?
I think it's still there. I think.
I don't know if it's still open or not.
But Weber City Lounge, yeah, that was, and of course Grace's and like
What's
you
the
said,
one next to Lowe's? Unfortunately, it's closed down.
Mom's.
No, right there on Airline.
Yeah,
Like Bayou something. Bayou.
No, the
Bayou Bar.
The Bayou Bar.
Bayou
right
Bar,
on the side
yeah.
of Lowe's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still remember. I mean, it's not even a year or two ago. I remember the little donut place across from the Bayou Bar. We go there and get some donuts,
And they be over there drinking.
and they over there. We getting donuts, and they at the Bayou Bar drinking.
Well, that same crew that would be at the Double H, they'd make their round between the Bayou Bar, the Double H, and Corner Bar.
Yo, see,
Which is
Corner
still
Bar's
rock and
gone now.
roll.
No, have you seen it? They're remodeling it right now.
They remodeled the building, but
They're still open.
Oh, really?
You,
Yeah.
you go in on the side.
Oh, okay.
yeah, they redid the whole entire building, but they
Yeah.
moved the door to the side.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still there. I think you'd have to physically pick those people up and move them out of there. But,
That's about right.
And you got Fat Cat and what
Yeah.
else?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Cottage Inn.
Yeah, the cottage right there on 73.
Yeah, Cottage is still kicking. They've been
Kicking.
around for a long time, too.
Yep.
Did you ever go to the T. Joe Museum? Is that still a thing? I don't think it is anymore.
So
Not right now.
Not now.
Is it temporarily somewhere, or are they?
Well, because the Chamber of Commerce
Right.
moved into that building.
Right,
So
and-
I don't know if they're going to bring back the museum once they move
Someone's
back out.
got the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when they moved everything out of the T. Joe Museum whenever the chamber moved there,
Right.
because the chamber was they were on Highway 30, across from St. Elizabeth Hospital forever,
Yes.
and they kept flooding. And then here recently, they moved, the Chamber of Commerce moved into the T. Joe Museum building. I would love to know where all that old stuff is.
I want to say it used to be like you headed to the old Carver. They had the railroad tracks. I want to say there was like a train car or
Yeah.
something that it was in.
That's right. And they moved that train car from Carver. They moved it to Highway 30. Now, I don't know where they moved it to from there whenever they tore down the building on Highway 30.
I don't know. We might have to
Yeah, we
check
might
that
have
out
to
and
do
see.
some investigating on that.
Talking about nightclubs, though, don't forget about old Eric's and Tony's in
Oh,
Donaldsonville.
100%.
Tony's, yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yes. Yep. And we were talking about grocery stores a while ago, but we missed A&P Food Store. Was
yeah.
here forever.
Is that the one where it became Adele Champs and now it's Planet Fitness?
Yeah.
The Malco Shopping Center. Isn't
Yes.
that where A&P was?
I-
And then it
I-
was Del Champs later?
Yeah, I thought A&P Food Store was in the East Bank Shopping Center, but I
It
could be-
was.
Okay,
I
am I wrong?
thought,
Yeah.
I thought, but you are right. There was a Dale Champs
Right.
and
that
all
was
that.
the original Del
with-
Champs before it went to Big Lots.
before
Yeah.
I went to Big Lots. But I'm thinking that A&P Food Stores was in the East Bank Shopping Center.
It was.
And then the big one in Prairieville was Bon Lou,
You had Bonlou and you had Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly.
That's
and
on
then,
42, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you had your old mom and pop shops, the R&B, which was where
Yeah.
Goodwill thing is on 44 and Black Bayou.
So before it was R&B, it was Thomasy.
Yeah.
Thomasy
Yeah.
grocery store, and then
Yeah.
it became R&B, and I mean, it was, I mean, shoot, that was mom and pop right there for a long time.
And you had B&H that was across from where Corner Bar is.
sure.
That lot's vacant now.
And in Donaldsonville, you had, is it Bellina's?
And they're still
that's
there.
still there.
Best ham you can buy, I'm going to
Yeah.
tell
All
you.
right, so remember this. I was out in Donaldsonville for whatever reason. I went to like it was a school supply giveaway, whatever I was there for.
Yes.
And I stopped at the church. I was in the church parking lot, and you pulled up on that damn curvy road, wherever that is, and goes, "Hey, what are you doing out here?" And I said, "Well, I was at whatever." Like, well, you need to bring your ass to Bellina's and get you the best ham
That's
in
some
town.
good
I said,
ham, man.
All right, bro.
Yep.
Went. It
Yes.
was pretty good.
So the first Alexander store that was built in Ascension Parish was built in 1921.
Wow.
And it was over there by where Murray's is. That was the first Alexander store that ever came to Ascension.
That's the same.
Same family.
I
Murray
didn't know
was
that.
Murray Alexander.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yes.
so your Alexander's store that's on Highway 30 now, that's all the same family that owned Murray's.
Murray's.
And now they have Harvest and the one on Highland.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Ascension Parish has expanded past Ascension Parish, but that's a good thing.
And then when we were growing up, you had the American Legion Hall in Gonzales, where the Gonzales swimming pool was.
Yep,
Everybody,
where the city police
Oh,
is
yeah.
now.
Yeah, I forgot about that swimming pool.
Yeah.
you know, that's where you spent your Sundays. You spent your summers at that Gonzales swimming pool at the American Legion Hall. Matter of fact, me and my wife got married 39 years ago, and that's where our reception was, at that American Legion Hall.
My mom and Mr. Loden got married in that Legion Hall, too.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yes. It was called the Gotro Williams American Legion Hall.
Yes, yes, yes.
You want to keep it rolling?
And then, of course, when we grew up, on Burnside, I never got to go in this because I was too young, but the Town Tavern was a big, huge place. You may have been,
I made it in there a time or two.
Brenda, tell us about the Town Tavern.
It wasn't some place I frequented, but I did go in. And there was another one on 44, too, the Kai Lounge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, I forgot all about them.
That's exactly
Yep.
right. Yes.
I'm telling stories I shouldn't probably be telling, but,
And then when you came into Ascension Parish on Airline Highway from Baton Rouge, everybody remembers the 3 oak trees.
Yes, they do.
The 3 oak trees were there forever, you
Yep.
know. And that was a landmine here in Ascension Parish, was the 3 oak trees
Yep.
on Airline Highway.
Yep. You knew you were in Prairieville when you saw those
Saw the
oaks.
oak trees, yep.
Yes.
y'all remember the giant golf ball? This is Baton Rouge, but a little further north, the giant golf ball.
Oh yeah, you hit the golf ball
And
into
try to get it into it.
Yeah.
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 Something. Yeah.
Kind of by Briarwood or whatever.
Yep.
But on
Yeah.
Airline, yep.
Somewhere up in that area.
Yep.
Those were the days, man. We had some good times. And I mean, back things were so much simpler, I think about kids today and the difficulties they have communicating because they don't talk to their friends. They're stuck in their phone. They're stuck,
Well, you mentioned earlier about dropping some kids off at the shopping center. I wouldn't even dare. My kids are high schoolers, and I still wouldn't drop them off by themselves.
I'm telling you, we walked from where Aldi's is now all the way to where Tractor Supply is now. You can't do that.
I rode
these
a
days.
bike all the way from my house down Kling Road on a corner view all the way up Chester Diaz, 74, all the way to it's the Party Rentals place right over the hill.
Yeah.
It was Dutchtown Video then.
Yeah.
I rode my bike at 5 o'clock p.m. in the middle of rush hour. You can't do that now.
No, you can't. There's too many cars on the road.
No, indeed.
Not to mention so much uncertainty in the world, but you don't know who you can trust anymore. But
Of course, when we were growing up, we only had one newspaper, and that was the Gonzales Weekly.
That's right.
Owned by the Bishop family.
The Citizen came out in about the 90s as a competitor.
That's right.
And then they kind of merged.
And then they kind of merged. But I'm going to tell you, you would, I think the Weekly would come out every Thursday or Tuesday.
it came out on. You could get it early on Thursday, but it really came out on Friday.
So back then, what you did, because I was in the fire service at a young age there, you would go drop your deadline was Tuesday.
Correct.
At 12, you had to drop the pictures off, and then you could go pick them up the following Monday. But you had to go back to the Gonzales Weekly and pick your pictures up.
Right. If you wanted to advertise your garage sale, anything,
if you wanted to sell something,
Tuesday.
you had to count your words.
Yeah.
They would say you only have 30 words to sell your shit for $20 a week or
and
whatever.
then after, talking about that, that went on forever, and then all of a sudden they came out with the nickel ads.
Yep.
The nickel ads, a little yellow paper, and everybody that had garage sales from here to Kingdom Come was in the nickel ads.
And if you needed to have a travel agent, Alana Bishop was your travel agent. That's all we had,
Yes,
that was on Worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were all together. The weekly, Alana's travel, all of that.
I know the building.
Yeah.
I want to say a woman was running a tax service out of there, a little further down, Beverly something.
Beverly. Oh, she's still. Well, it's still called Beverly's, but I don't know if Beverly's doing it anymore.
She was old 20 years ago.
Yeah.
For sure. And then let's talk about Dr. Philippe's mansion on Highway 73 in Prairieville. That's now a cemetery.
Yes.
That was a big time landmine for
By the church.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he was a doctor, and he owned. So Dr. Phillippe owned the mansion, and he owned all the property around the mansion, all the way from 73 all the way to Airline. So when Dr. Phillippe passed away, the first thing they sold was the property on Airline where the flea market is now.
Right.
That was all owned by Dr. Phillippe.
Right.
And then after they sold the property on Airline where the flea market is, then they sold the property where Seven Oaks subdivision is.
But before it was his, wasn't it something to do with Mr. Tiki Duplessis?
Well, I don't know, because Tiki Duplessis, he always lived on Tiki Duplessis Road,
Right.
behind Bayou Grande subdivision. Along with there was a little airport right there that was owned by
Oh, yeah.
that was owned by
Yeah.
the Babin family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you had an airport there.
Donald Babin.
Mr.
Yeah.
Donald Babin, and God bless his son's soul, but he grew up flying planes his
Troy.
whole life,
Yep.
Troy Babin, and ended up going to work for the Houston Police Department, Florida Police Department, and that's where he lost his life flying planes. But the and then after Seven Oaks and then they sold the mansion, and then now John Stafford owns the cemetery,
Yeah.
which turned out to be a beautiful.
It is a beautiful place.
Yes.
Seven Oaks was the first ever nice subdivision I ever seen as a kid. I think that was one of the biggest, best ones at the time.
That was
when it came out.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Big, yep.
Yeah.
And then they just started multiplying. I mean, because basically the parish of Ascension virtually tripled overnight
Uh-huh.
after Katrina.
And it's just more efficient to put
What-
houses down one street like that in an exact cookie cutter way. You could fit 100 houses where you could fit 10 before.
Right.
I get it. It ruins the individuality of it.
But like I said, our population tripled
Yeah.
after Katrina
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
because we were the first livable community that they could get to when they evacuated New Orleans.
Yeah, we're on the way to Baton Rouge from there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I can remember that's when my husband was battling leukemia and he had a doctor's appointment. No, it wasn't leukemia. He had a back, that's when his back surgery was going on. And it took us almost 4 hours to get from here to his doctor's appointment. And that was taking River Road because I figured that's going to be the less populated road. And it took us 4 hours to get there.
We took in, I think, 4,000 students in a week's time after that with the school system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all, we call at that time we call Dutchtown the Katrina School because that's where Eddie Lacy came from, and,
Yep.
and
Landon Collins.
Landon Collins, and all them outstanding football players. Well, you know, if you went to another high school, you would say, man, Dutchtown definitely paid off from the Katrina to get those guys who all went to the pros.
Yeah.
You know, a while ago we talked about Paul LeBlanc with the Payless supermarkets, but you know they didn't just own Payless supermarket. They had other stores around the community that were called, I want to say they were called PayPals.
Yes.
And so there was one at the corner of 73 and 74.
I thought that was Lil Pals.
Lil Pals, you
Lil
nailed
Pals,
it.
that's
Yeah,
what it was.
you nailed it.
Yep.
They had several Lil Pals.
Yes.
And one of them was definitely at 73 and 74 where Harvest is now. And I thought there was a couple more Lil Pals around, but that was all owned by the LeBlanc family.
That little pal has a crazy memory for me though because it had a payphone
That's right.
and I had good friends that lived in St. Gabriel, so it was late at night, so I'd always stop at that payphone so they know I got back to this side of the swamp or whatever. But one night I stopped there and used the phone to let them know I was on my way home, and I left, and it was the next day they talked about that girl that
That's
went
right.
missing from right there. And I'm thinking, how was I not there when that happened?
And she was on the payphone at Lil Pal.
Yes.
You know, that was one of the
Yes.
that was one of the biggest. That was one of my first biggest murders that I remember in Ascension Parish.
Yeah.
was that poor woman being on that phone at Lil Pal's at 73 and 74.
Yeah, and I had just been through
It
there.
had to be in the
It's
early
crazy.
80s, huh?
Yeah,
Early 80s.
sometime around then.
Yes.
That was some time ago. We've had our share of crime, and
That's
yes,
right.
if you ask anybody now, it's terrible. But we've had some big cases too.
Yes, that's right.
I was telling some guys at work that we have our crime, but it's not dangerous crime. We have thefts and drugs. We don't have murders like Baton Rouge or New Orleans. Well, we got a little
had
here
a
and there,
few.
a few shootings, but I feel safe walking outside right now versus some of these other places
Well,
because you look through all the arrests and it's just theft. Somebody broke into a car.
Or the
whatever.
big things like the one they posted later, I think it was today or yesterday. The guys weren't. One of the guys was from out of state, and the other one was from some other parish.
Yeah, a lot of our crime isn't violent.
And
which,
it's- yeah.
And when it does happen, it just
It's an isolated incident.
well,
between-
we had that serial killer here.
Daniel Blank.
Daniel Blank made his rounds, and that was a sad time for all of us. At that time, I think Bill Landry was the police chief in Gonzales, and that was just a big case. That was in our area when we was growing up in the 80s.
That was a tough one.
That was a tough one. A lot. Matter of fact, I think I personally knew 4 of them.
Yeah.
That passed away from that incident. Talking about the sheriff's office, I'm blessed to have 34 years with the sheriff's office, and I was hired when Harold Tritico was sheriff, and Harold Tritico did his long stint as sheriff, and then we had Jeff Wiley, who went 6 terms as sheriff, and of course Bobby Weber. But in my early days of the sheriff's office, people don't remember this, but when Tritico was sheriff, all the deputies had to share the same car.
Yep.
They had to share the same radio, and they had to, believe it or not, they had to share the same gun. Wow. So what would happen is the cars would run 24 hours a day because you could only afford so many cars. So when we would if I worked a 12-hour shift on days, at the end of my shift, I would go to the sheriff's office, and there would be a guy in the parking lot waiting to get in the same car that I'm getting out of. And I'd have to give him my radio, and I would have to give him my gun.
And you didn't have the computers in the cars where when you got a little downtime now, you can write your reports and do all that. You had to get out of your car and go sit in the sheriff's office and write all your reports.
Everything had to be written. So we've come a long way from there. I want to say when Tritico was sheriff and Jeff Wiley was the chief deputy is whenever they passed the big tax for law enforcement in Ascension, and that's whenever things started changing where everybody got their own gun, everybody got their own radio, and then eventually, which was a shocker to me, everybody got their own car.
Yeah.
So now like all my boys work for the sheriff's office. They all have their own car that they bring home. That was unheard of whenever I started with the sheriff's office.
I remember when all the sheriff cars were white instead of black.
Yes.
I don't know if that was a Jeff Wiley thing or what, but all the cars were white, and you knew there was. And then they changed them to black, and I was like, "Why are they changing them to black?" And then I drove around.
They're not black. They're blue.
They're very dark.
Yeah.
And at night I can't see them. I said, "Okay, that's why."
Well, keep in mind, this will blow your mind also. Not only were the cars, when Tritico was sheriff and when Wiley was sheriff, not only were the cars blue and white, but the deputies wore white shirts.
Yes.
And so we wore white shirts for years and not knowing that we was a moving target.
Oh, yeah. Way more visible.
Until we went to the black uniforms and until we went to the black cars or the dark blue cars, you know.
Yeah. Times have changed so much with everything. And I have to laugh. I was telling somebody at work this earlier today. With my What's Going On group, I get aggravated so much, people complaining, oh, these roads are terrible, these roads are terrible, these roads are terrible. And then now we're working on roads, and they're like, oh my gosh, why are they working on them right now?
I hate all this construction.
What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want?
That 30 at the interstate, that's my current one I hate the most.
Yes. I do everything I can right now to avoid Highway 30.
It's a major headache.
They're doing some bridges that's blocking off some paths too, like at Church Point and Roddy.
Yes.
Yep.
That one you can't do. And then the second entrance into Keystone is they're doing
Duval
that.
Road.
Yeah, so they're changing that bridge, and that's a pain in the ass.
How long is that one going to take?
Only
That's
supposed
been
to be a
going
few
on
more
for a
weeks.
while.
Yeah,
It's been a few months.
Yeah, they're saying it's only supposed to be at least another 2 or 3 weeks, and that bridge on Duval Road will be open back up. But let's talk about the history of the Jambalaya Festival. When we were growing up, it was
On Burnside.
You'd shut Burnside down for 3 days.
I've seen the pictures.
And you would walk down. I mean, you would walk down Burnside from LeBlanc's from Roy Marchand's
from
Po'
Roy's
Boys
store.
all the way to where the soccer fields are. And I remember as a kid, walking down to Burnside during the Jambalaya Festival, and you'd be walking in beer cans all the way up to your knees.
But people, you could bring your own drinks, though.
That's right.
You didn't have to buy them from there. People would, I remember our guys in our class, we'd have a wagon with a ice chest in it full of jungle juice.
100%. And keep in mind, at that time, when it was on Burnside, you didn't have like an inside band.
Nope.
Everything was outside.
It was all outside.
And you had the Jambalaya singers
Yep.
that would do their little skit every year.
Yes,
and,
indeed.
And that, of course, the Jambalaya Festival has moved around a lot since then. But if you were born and raised here, is nothing like your times of the Jambalaya Festival on Burnside.
Well, and we used to have a strawberry festival where that American
I was
Legion
about to bring that
was.
up. The
Yeah.
Strawberry Festival. That's not a thing anymore.
No.
And the Strawberry Festival, like you say, was over there by the American Legion Hall.
Yep.
And that was a big thing when we were growing up, too. And I don't know exactly what year that stopped, but so I think they kind of like their new home right now at Lamar Dixon, but it's just not the same.
It's not even technically Gonzales.
Right. It's not the same.
Well, it was in
And
Sorrento
then you got to
for a
go
while.
through. You got to go through that construction to even find it out there.
It was in Sorrento for a while. So.
When it was on, what is that, Irma?
Irma,
Yeah.
yep.
So I didn't really like it that much there. I know everybody else did, but you had a parking lot at night when it was cool and you had a band. I guess it was entertaining. But if you went out there during the day when it was hot, it was just scorching hot, nowhere to stand. All you had to do was either walk around that parking lot or go sit down under one of those little tables. Now across the street, that's where they had the cook-off. But if I'm just a regular citizen walking around, I'm not interested in that. And then maybe inside there was a band playing Swamp Pop or some little girls dancing school dancing, but that was about it. Because I'm not big. You know, they have the little rock parking lot with the little scammy ass carnival. That's not I don't like going to that.
But they make these things called lawn chairs, Mark, and you bring those with you, and that's where you sit.
Yeah.
But I mean, because when it was on Burnside, there weren't any tables, there weren't any cover. You were fair game for the
I'm
elements.
a much bigger fan of the St. John's Festival. It's much
Yeah.
nicer in every
I was
capacity.
about to mention that. Yep.
That's my favorite one.
Yes.
And that's where I went to church as a kid, but
Me too.
it's just so much better between the rides, the band where you go, the big building where the food and drink are, you can sit down, they have the auction, it's so much better.
But they used to have the live auction with the festival because that was my thing back in the day. I ran that and loved it. It was so much fun.
You get deck-a-toes stew on Friday night.
Or you get that crawfish stew.
But now-
I'm like Mark. I grew up at the St. John Fair my whole life, and
But
it was
that wasn't Chad Decatoe stew. That was
Benoit Bro, huh?
That wasn't like
Crochet.
Oh yeah,
Was it?
Yes,
Charles Crochet?
Charles Crochet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's where that came from.
Every year I post about 20 memes about that damn crawfish stew at that St.
And
John's.
look, they've been doing it for years, and they've been so successful.
They're
You got
so generous with
And
the
so
crawfish.
consistent.
and
Yeah.
so
It's
consistent.
always the same. Like,
Yes.
oh my goodness, yes. And Charles Crochet, when I tell you, I don't know if he ever entered the Jambalaya Festival, but that man, I don't care if he cook a jambalaya today and he cook one next week, it's going to taste the same every time.
And he still lives on 73.
Yes, he does.
Still, and Amy Crochet and Charles Crochet and they had a brother named
Whatever.
Stacy.
Yeah.
Stacy Crochet.
And,
yes.
and Chuck.
And Chuck. That's
Chuck
right.
works for the city.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's some good food.
We've hit every single point I wrote down without me even having to say it. Because I wrote down Jambalaya Festival. I wrote down the APSO. I wrote down Roy Marchand's Western Sizzling Burger Delight and Cal's Bakery. And you hit all of them without even me having to prompt y'all.
Well, look, he's
let's
got
don't-
stuff he didn't check
Keep
off
on.
yet.
Keep rolling,
Let's-
I guess.
Let's don't forget the icon of Airline Highway, the White Rose Motel.
Man, watch out.
There's a lot of stuff happening at the White Rose Motel.
I've got a microphone on, so I've never been. Wink, wink. I know I've never been there.
Yeah.
Well, where the what is it now? I don't even know what the
It's the Economy Inn or something.
No.
Oh.
On Airline behind Athletes in Motion. There's still a motel there. I don't know if they do any kind of business, but there used to be a restaurant.
Oh, you're talking
right
about
there.
the Sabon.
The
Yes.
Sabon.
Now you wanted a steak.
Oh, I've been in the Sable.
Yeah.
Long ago.
Long
And it was
ago.
roaches.
That was
and-
the best steak you could
Yeah.
ever eat.
Sabon
at
Lounge.
Sabon. Well,
yeah.
Mr. Fred and Lee Morgan.
Oh yeah, and they had the hotel and they had the big, so when that funny story about that, I was a young fire chief at 19 years old when the Sabon restaurant lounge caught on fire.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
call on
when
fire.
it caught on fire, and,
Yeah.
and here's the story behind that, because at that time Prairieville Fire Department ran a bar, and they had Tuesday night bingo, and they had the Prairieville Fire Department had the coldest beer in Prairieville the whole time I was growing up, and they had, of course, Tuesday night bingo. So when the Sabon Lounge caught on fire, and we put it out, the owners loaded all the fire trucks down with all the beer, and we took it back to the fire department and put it in the Prairieville Fire Department bar.
Man.
The Prairieville Fire Department, you talking about the one by Miller Road?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the new building. But when I was fire chief, it was where the training tower was the fire station, and the trucks came out on the back street. They didn't come out on that street. So that was the I was fire chief there at a young age, from like 19 till 27.
Yeah.
Well, I had Cub Scout meetings in that big fire station.
Not only that,
Big
but
one or
they,
the little one?
The big one. It was the pack meeting.
yeah.
With all the troops would meet up.
And that's where they would have the Cub Scout race car.
Pinewood Derby.
The Pinewood Derbies
Hell
would be
yeah.
there. And keep in mind, that's where, believe it or not, I would love to know the percentage of the people in Ascension Parish that had their wedding receptions at the Prairieville Fire Department.
Graduation parties, too.
Graduation. And then, of course, Steve and Mike Broussard had the New Year's Eve party there for 20 years, So that all took place at the Prairieville Fire Department on 73.
And I don't
Yes,
want to
indeed.
brag, but in 1987, I had the third fastest car. I got a trophy.
On the Pinewood Derby.
That's right.
Wow.
I
And
still have that trophy.
Did you
There was
know
an 87 on it.
so the Girl Scout Council for this area is called, I just talked about it yesterday. Anyway, Louisiana East.
Yes.
And Louisiana East, their office used to be in Baton Rouge off of Chevelle Drive. And if you needed Girl Scout cookies, or if you were a troop leader, you had all the way to Baton Rouge. And then there was another office in New Orleans. I just learned yesterday our Dream Lab, which is over here by Cabela's, that's the office for Louisiana East. They no longer have Baton Rouge in New Orleans.
Huh.
So they relocated their Girl Scouts to Ascension
To
Parish.
Ascension, yep.
So what did when we were growing up, what did we call the small record? It was a 45?
Yes.
Yep.
And then the big record was a 33?
33.
Yeah.
And
Well, you
then-
had a 75 that was in between there.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So we
Oh,
had we had the 45 records, and then we had the 33s, and then we went to the 8-track, and then we went to cassette.
Yep.
And then we went to CDs.
CDs.
So where'd you buy all that at?
The Music Center.
Music
Yep.
That's
The
right.
Music Center across from where the Walmart is now, where there was Cato Plus and
Yeah.
Cato. There was a Music Center there. And
But
I remember
originally,
buying...
wasn't it on Burnside?
Originally, it was on Burnside.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Music Center, wasn't that?
Well, you had two music stores. One was for band instruments. That was Music Inc.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Music Center is where
Yeah.
you bought albums.
Albums.
That's where you
Yep,
bought
yep.
your records and stuff
That's right.
like that from.
From Wayne Davis.
That's who I'm thinking
Yep.
of Wayne Davis.
Wayne
but,
Davis.
Yeah. So I mean that was I mean, look, when you wanted to go get the newest record that was out, you went to the Music Center.
Yes, indeed.
I remember buying New Kids on the Block buttons. It was I've never seen any other band do this. Not little buttons you wear on your shirt, but they had big ass foot wide buttons, and you was cool as shit if you had one of those New Kids on the Block buttons on your book sack. So here I am, a 10-year-old boy, thinking I'm cool with that New Kids on the Block button.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not, but I thought I was.
After Music Center closed, then I'd go get my albums from Kmart.
That's right.
Kmart had a good music section.
Yeah,
Kmart was better than Walmart because
Most definitely.
if you wanted music that had a profanity in it, Walmart didn't sell it. Kmart did. Like with the parental advisor sticker, you couldn't buy any rock or rap that had.
Oh, no.
You had to go to Kmart.
That's funny.
Let's talk about some dealerships. When we were growing up, you had Lusto Ford, which is on Airline Highway across from Snow's, where the fire district is now.
Correct.
We're fixing to remodel that building right
Yep,
now.
yep.
Matter of fact, this week the fire district moved out of it, and they moved to a fire station in Santa Monica so they can redo it. But Lusto Ford was a big one. Of course, the most popular thing in Ascension Parish when we was growing up was, of course, Price LeBlanc Toyota.
Yeah.
And
I still remember those
Daigle
commercials.
Pontiac.
Yeah, you had Price LeBlanc who would give away the sausage.
They still do.
And they still do.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you had Henderson Cellars, and you had Daigle Pontiac,
Daigle Pontiac.
and you had Duplessis Automotive. All of those. And then you had Jacob Chevrolet was in Gonzales also.
Well, and then they were Lamar Lane.
And then they were Lamar Lane. You had Buddy Gore Chrysler Dodge.
Yes.
You had
Yes.
Lamar Lane Chevrolet.
Yep.
So, I mean, and then across the river, you had Tebow Chevrolet.
Oh, yeah.
You had Tebow Chevrolet, and then you had Lemons Oldsmobile.
Lemons.
I saw a car the other day with the Lemons logo on it. I sure did. I thought about that.
And then also in Donaldsonville, you had Capone Pontiac. So
Yes, indeed.
all that was in Donaldsonville. Yeah, so I mean, we had a lot of good dealerships. Like I think Henderson Sellers is now Ralph Sellers, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were some good old dealerships for sure.
Yep.
And before Nissan, they were, what were they? Datsuns.
Datsuns.
Oh yeah.
But boy, how much money did Price LeBlanc selling Toyotas, man?
My grandpa knew him real well, and he ended up, I think he bought, I want to say he bought the third or fourth vehicle out of there when it opened up.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
They made about 60 grand off of me.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize this also when we was growing up, but in the East Bank Shopping Center was a Sears catalog store.
Yes, there was.
I went to that as a kid. I do
Yes.
remember that.
Yes.
There was it was a Sears catalog store.
Look, and you talk about those Sears catalogs, and kids today, they would not have it. I'd sit for hours flipping through that thing. Oh, I want this, and I want this.
That
I
was
can
our
remember
Google
when
search.
your
Yeah.
parents would tell you, they would give you the Sears catalog at Christmas time, and they would say, mark off whatever you want in there. And me and my sister would go through that Sears catalog, and we
Oh, I
would
did
mark
that too.
off 100 things. And come Christmas time, there wasn't a damn thing under the Christmas tree that came from Sears.
No, nothing.
So you had the toy catalog, the wish book, and then you had the real Sears catalog. And I used to flip through it, and there was some bullshit in there, whatever, housewares. But in the first third of that book was the women's lingerie, and as
Yeah.
a little boy,
Yeah.
we didn't have porn ready
No.
available on the phone back
No,
then.
no.
No. So
Yeah.
I'm like 10. And I'm
Yeah.
heartbeat racing. I hope nobody's seeing that I'm looking in this book, and that was
didn't
my
get
only
past that
that was
section.
my only way to see titties back then.
That's right.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Was the Sears catalog.
Shame on you.
And also in the East Bank Shopping Center was LaBeouf's 5 and 10.
Yep, we had LaBeouf's. So you had TG&Y. There was the A&P, the Mary Ann's,
And then you had LaBeouf's, and you had
West Brothers
West
on the
Brothers
end.
on the end. That was all grocery stores. That was all stores in the East Bank Shopping Center, which was the most popular
Yeah.
shopping center in Ascension Parish when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Was the East Bank Shopping Center.
Yeah, because we had that, and you had Galleries Gonzalez. If you wanted to go to mall, you had to go to Bon Marché.
Yeah.
In Baton
yeah.
Rouge.
Or
Oh,
Cortana.
my goodness.
Well, Cortana wasn't there back then.
Yeah, that's right.
You remember when Tractor Supply on 30 was like a Roussel's or something?
Yeah, Roussel's Antiques.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roussel's Antiques.
Yep. I remember when Carlico was the Sicily or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It was an Italian pizza place.
Pizza
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, that's right.
That's,
Yeah.
you're exactly-
Sicily's.
Sicily's.
Sicily's,
And
yeah.
you had-
And they had a
buffet, too. Yeah.
They had a buffet.
And then next to that, where Roussel's is now, used to be Ward Nance Jewelry.
That's right. That's
Back
right.
in the day. That was before Lanes came into play and all of those. But you
So-
had Ward Nance.
My first wife worked for that Roussel's for a little while, and they had a going out of business sale, and my wife is like, "No, he does this once a year to get shit out the door." He said he never plans on going out of business. They do this once a year to get, let me get in there. But she was like, "No," he told me straight out, "No."
Yes, and of course, two other places that's been around forever. Wright's Furniture.
Yeah.
Everybody bought their furniture at Wright's Furniture.
Now it's an outdoor store.
Yeah, it's an outdoor store, and of course, a lot of people don't realize that Lamandolas has been around a while.
90
Well,
years.
And in Donaldsonville, you got Grognard's Furniture.
That's right, Grognard's.
And look, I'm gonna
And
tell
look,
you what, those people.
I buy my supply, I buy my what you call it, washer and dryer and refrigerator from
Appliances, yeah.
Grognard's.
Well, when we lost our house, we were staying right behind where their warehouse store is, and I was lost as a goose. I didn't know what to do. I had never been in that situation, and I went up there to go look one day just to see what was in there. And the lady said, "What's going on?" And I told her what my situation was, and she said, "Look, because I needed mattresses. Like if I don't have anything else, I need something to sleep on." And she helped me find the mattresses that we wanted to have, and she said, "They'll stay here till you're ready to move in." And that was probably a good 30, 45 days later.
Yeah.
And they held them there, and the day I told her, "Hey, look, we're moving in," they brought them to my house and set them up, and life was great. I highly recommend Grognard's.
Yeah, so Grognard's, another story about them is when the 2016 flood hit, and I've been doing some interviews all week long with TV stations about the flood. So the Rotary Club in Gonzales and the Rotary Club in Donaldsonville got together, and they donated a lot of money to ground yards. And what they did is, if a firefighter or a police officer in Ascension Parish in 2016, if they lost their house, they could go to ground yards and get a washer and a dryer and a refrigerator from the 2016
awesome.
flood. And that was all purchased by the not only the Rotary Club in Gonzales, but the Rotary Club in Donaldsonville.
Man, speaking of that flood, we lost some schools, as y'all know, and we, I think, man, it was over $100 million in damages, but the school board had $116 million in that fund balance, so we was able to.
Sandoval took it the hardest.
Oh man, I mean, we was able to rebound quickly and open those schools up. Good thing we had that money in the bank in the reserve.
My kids were going to Galvez Primary Middle, and they had to be relocated to Central Middle. And
Yeah. So we talked about that a lot this week, and I was telling Mark, I said, look, you need to do a podcast just talking about the flood.
Absolutely.
Because with all the schools that we lost and the fire departments we lost and all the houses and the businesses,
I got screwed over by it.
Yeah,
my house flooded.
Yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that the flood shows and is just so apparent with this area, no matter what happens,
That's right.
Ascension Parish always comes together for its people.
Yes.
And one example of that, it just showed up in my memories the other day. In 2017, a classmate of mine was diagnosed with the same, well, actually his leukemia was different than my husband's was. And he had been diagnosed, and I knew what that journey was like. Been there, lived it, still don't wish it on anybody. My husband was in the hospital over 400 days in 3 years. It was unimaginable. And my classmate, I knew what the struggles were going to be. And I pulled together our class of 79 and said, hey, we need to do something. And we did it in about 60 days. All I wanted to do was a dance. Back in the day, like we used to have a dance where you would walk up, pay at the door, and just musicians come in, play, have, if people want to buy drinks, great, whatever. And we're fortunate some of our classmates own Elegant Affair, so we had the venue. We know a lot of musicians. Many of them went to school with us. We had the music. I just wanted to have a dance. Well, that dance turned into one of the biggest one-day fundraisers this parish has ever seen. We were going to have it in the back then they had the Grand Pavilion too. So we were just going to do it in the Grand Pavilion on a Saturday evening. The week before, we had to move to the actual Elegant Affairs building because we had sold so many tickets we couldn't fit in, because that's what this community does.
Yeah. They do it. They
and
rally
we
behind
raised
you.
more money in that one day than you could. I'm not, because I don't want to tell people's personal stuff, but I know that it was just unimaginable. And it was supposed to be from 3 o'clock to about 8 o'clock. And at 2 o'clock when we got there, because we went and set up and came back, when we got there, the people were wrapped around the building waiting to get in. And it was just unbelievable. So if nothing else comes out of Ascension Parish, our sense of community is unimaginable.
So when we were gutting out my house, we were living there. It was just it just sucked. And the people that would come bring me lunch, just my Facebook friends, I wasn't even nobody then. This was just I'm just a guy on Facebook. People were bringing me lunch every day for my family, my kids. They would just come, hey, we brought you some jambalaya, whatever. One of my friends, his dad had just this big, beautiful RV. They backed it into my driveway and plugged it up to the house and said, here, live in this until your house. Like, that's insane. I said, are you sure? Said, yeah, just let me
It's what
live
we
out
do.
of this RV.
It's what we do.
It's what we do.
Yep.
And I'll be glad for us to do a podcast just about the flood, because so much happened there. So much happened in 2016, and it took us till 2020, 2021, 2022 to get the schools rebuilt and get the fire departments rebuilt. And I talked about this today when I was interviewing on TV. Was like the brains of the operation around the school board to understand that Dutchtown would go to school from 8 to 12, and then Santa Maria would go to Dutchtown, and they would go to school from 1 to 4. And it just
that was actually the first week that Dave Alexander got hired as a superintendent, and I was like, we putting him in the frying pan right now
Yeah.
to figure all that.
And for y'all to, of course, come up with that idea, the school board to come up with that idea was remarkable. But the most remembrance thing was whenever Santa Maw would play their home football games at Dutchtown, and they would let us bring the cannon.
Yep.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
But whenever, they would let us bring the cannon to Dutchtown. But when we played Dutchtown, they told us we had to put the cannon in the truck. They wouldn't let us shoot it.
And look, I laugh because I live closer to Santa Maw than I do to East Ascension. I've always lived on the line, and that's where the line is. But I laugh now because all the newcomers to the parish that don't know that tradition,
Yep.
every Friday night of a home game, what blew up in Santa Maw?
Y'all hear a
they're
noise?
playing a football game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all hear that explosion?
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
hell
it.
yeah. That was a touchdown, son.
Yes.
James, how do we look on your list, man? It looks like you got it.
Yeah. So I think
We're knocking this
on
out.
this next one would be Brenda would be the only one that would remember this.
It sounds like if I go run to the bathroom, y'all can keep this going.
Yeah, we
we're
got it.
good.
Go ahead.
So Brenda would probably be the only one that would remember this one because it was in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. But there was a place called Hebert's Grocery and Meat, and it was an old van, and they would deliver meat to people's houses.
That was before my time because I've heard of it, but I don't remember.
So
it.
Barbara, if Cody Melançon's mama is Barbara Melançon. Y'all know she loves to dance and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yes.
Her daddy owned Hebert's Grocery and Meat.
Oh, wow.
And it was an old van, and they would deliver meat to people's houses.
Kind of like
Yeah.
the old milkman, I guess.
Yeah, kind of like the
Wow.
old milkman.
Or Charles Chips.
You know?
Charles Chips used to deliver the potato chips in the cans to the
Yeah.
houses. Yeah.
But
Man.
I remember growing up living with my mama and papa, on Coon Trap Road off of 74. I think it was every Tuesday morning. There was a half a gallon of milk sitting on the steps.
Oh wow.
You know, I mean, they delivered milk to your house. So those were some good old days there. And of course, the Bank of Gonzales was, a good bank, and then you had the First National Bank. All those old banks that were around forever.
Right.
And of course, just we've been blessed to live in a community where there was a lot of activity and a lot of atmosphere around us when we were growing up.
We did, and times have changed considerably. Obviously, some for the good, some I wonder can we go back. But it's just been a blessing for me. I know to grow up here. I was, like I said, I'm originally from St. Louis, and I came here, and it was like, where did my mama bring me?
Yeah.
But I'm so glad she did.
Yes. A couple more businesses we grew up around. Robert Tire.
Yep.
That was a big one right there at 30 and 44. Ramirez Pharmacy.
Ooh, yes.
Ramirez
Yes.
Pharmacy was a big hit back then.
Well, and then you had Johnny's Men's Shop.
Then you had Johnny's Men's Shop. Yeah, Johnny Ramirez.
Yep.
And then, of course, Lejeune's Dry Cleaning.
They were around for a long time.
And they were in that shopping center where Janice LeBlanc was.
Yep.
Where the auto place is now by
AutoZone.
By AutoZone.
Yeah,
AutoZone,
you had Lejeune's, and you had Miss Janice had her shop in there. Johnny had his shop in there.
Yep.
There was some other ones too, because there was like a little inside mall, and they had little things off
do
to the
remember that.
side. Yeah.
And
Then
then
they had a Subway on the back end for a while.
for a while, and then I think Beth's
Yes.
clothing.
Beth's
Yeah.
Boutique.
Yeah.
Beth's Boutique was in
Yep.
there too. So those were some good old days there. I think and we talked about Western Auto, and there was also, I don't remember this, but many people tell me about it. There was a motel on Airline Highway in Gonzales in the 70s called the Heartbreak Motel.
What?
And I don't remember it, but people are sending me pictures of it. It was called the Heartbreak Motel.
Where in the world was that
It
at?
sounded like it was only used for one thing.
Breaking people's hearts.
That's right. That became the White Rose.
Was it close to Southern Comfort?
Maybe so.
I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't where the White Rose was before the White Rose, but a lot of people send me pictures of it to my little Facebook post. So, but I think we pretty much hit my list pretty good.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming on. That's it for this episode of Treats from the Store, sponsored by 180 Pros, Movable Dumpsters, and High Horse Haircuts. I want to thank my guests Taft, Kleinpeter, Brenda, Whitney, and James E. LeBlanc. And as always, Dutchtown needs a Taco Bell. Thanks for listening.